Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by Arwin, the Adam Meakin, Neil, Chocolate Saiyan, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hello,
Good afternoon.
Let's go.
He's been
Welcome
talking
back.
Let me ask you a question.
How long let this dude talk, dude? He doesn't
Hello
even know
to
what
you too, guys.
fine.
On Discord.
An accelerometer. An
Are you guys back?
accelerometer.
Or is Arwen joining?
An
Now, not just
accelerometer
me,
in a
Nathan
closed
joined.
system. No
There's a
change
live
in
started the
atmosphere
live show,
density.
just so you guys know.
Hello. Somebody stop this guy, please. Somebody fucking stop him already.
Are-
Let's round, please.
Are you guys back? Yeah, you guys are back.
Yes, we're back. So why don't one person tell us what's going on? We're live.
Oh, we're talking
guy-
guns, guys.
He
Or
doesn't
just-
even know sum of a triangle. Sum of angles in a triangle. But he's been spinning everybody in circles for past 20 minutes. Talking rambling nonsense. What the fuck, man?
No swearing, please.
We've been
No swearing.
Let's be nice. He's came here to learn, right? So let's just be patient with
It's
him.
okay. Nathan is starting the show. Let's start from the beginning. Clean slate.
Is he starting? Are we live?
The show has started, yes.
It started about 4 times, actually, but we'll see how well this one goes. We might stay live for a prolonged period this time. You never know.
4 more hours.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
so the
Exactly.
the guns guy, we've been trying to explain the difference between science and pseudoscience. That there's a big difference, and we've gone through that, and we've been speaking about gravity, and we've been asking for the guy to explain and talk us through using the scientific method his claim of gravity. But he's saying that it's impossible to do, which we agree with, because otherwise we would be able to put it through the method. But we keep going round in circles, and the guy's bringing up a submarine and then using gravity when a submarine's a man-made piece of machinery. So it's just been a bit like that. So I don't know if not really got
Well, why
far.
don't we?
Well-
The hold on, the last thing.
Yeah, but this
The
is the
last
guy
thing
who doesn't know what a triangle is.
The last thing we heard here was about independent variables.
Right.
That's
So
the
why
last
don't
thing
you?
we heard.
Oh, so why don't we start with what's his observed phenomenon in nature? What does he see that's putting us
How about
through
we
this?
start with what's gravity?
Yeah, we tried that before.
I didn't hear it.
All right, so let's try
what's
that.
gravity?
Well, he's give us the mass attracting mass, and then he also gave us the bending of time in a 4th dimension.
What?
Based on
Really?
He also
Wow,
told us
really?
he's getting his information from Fight the Flat Earth.
Okay, so
So what's-
it sounds like there's a couple of questions that need to be asked in terms of what we address these with housekeeping. So we'll start with the science aspect. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
Nope.
Well, no, because in the first instance you would have to observe the natural phenomena, and there is none to observe. So you can't go any further with that claim.
What do you mean? Things go down.
Well,
Except for
gas
the
doesn't
That's
go
an
down, does it?
effect. That's an effect, though.
Is it?
It is if you induce it, but yeah, some things go down, some things remain neutral or in equilibrium, and some things go up. So what? That's not gravity.
So there's no downward vector.
You can ascribe a vector relative to you, if you wish, if you want to describe it linguistically. But the fact that some things go down, some things go up, some things, most things, don't do anything. What the hell's that got to do with the claim of this gravity? That isn't gravity, is it?
Right. Before you start to prove it, you need to actually define it first. Before you start to call independent variables and try to work with that, you got to first define what it actually is.
Wait, did you say independent
It's a concept.
variables? Plural?
Singular.
Yeah, but the other guy had it plural.
Okay. Well, at the point that we have no observed phenomena to be describing or appealing to keep us to the side of a spinning water ball, that's the end of any non-force or force that you think is a force that isn't really a force, that's an emergent force, that's actually the bending 4D space-time. Well, none of those things are applicable if you can't show us anything occurring. You can't appeal to it as a apologetic for why you're not flying off a spinning water ball. Okay, what about the other one? Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
No, and we have them agreeing with us on the other side.
Unless
there
you don't
even
know what the
such a thing as
triangle is. A right angle triangle, that is.
Well, we're
I mean, you only
assuming,
have to,
we're
I have a
assuming
question.
we're assuming that we're not dealing with people who don't understand what a triangle is, or will try and convince you that a triangle maybe has curved sides and stuff. You know, beyond those idiotic assertions of idiots that don't know what triangles are, we do. We know how they're applied. They're definitely straight lines meeting at vertices. So it's for us to then ask them how they get one of those off a curved baseline.
I mean, Nathan,
Nathan,
in
I
the
have a
definition,
question. Hold on.
you've only got.
Technical.
Hello?
Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
So I was
One
just
of
saying,
you.
it's in the definition. Oh, it's dead easy. You've just got to look at the definition of what an elevation angle is, and it'll tell you its requirements and what's needed. Needs a flat. It's a line of
Guns.
sight. It's a line of
This is
sight
your time
into
to
an
shine.
object above the horizontal
Can I ask my
baseline.
question now?
Can you all stop interrupting each other? Nearly got to the end of that sentence, Wandek.
I'm done now. Thanks.
Can I ask my question?
I'm sorry.
Nathan?
Yes, Arwin, then Jorge. Go ahead.
Thank you. Right. So I have a question about the curved baseline. Does that actually exist in the first instance? Is that even a proper phrase to say curved baseline? Like, I know, like within the mechanics, within the mathematics, it would have to be that, right? But is a baseline actually ever curved in anything?
No.
Is it actually a real thing?
Not for celestial navigation, it can't be.
No, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how it's impossible. I'm just talking about, is a baseline ever curved in anything, ever? Is that ever used? Is it even considered a baseline then?
No, it's
No.
not.
Right. So then that would technically mean it's a bit nitpicky. That's kind of a malformed question.
Well, like all of the
Right.
housekeeping, like literally every housekeeping question.
Oh, and you just said it is the baseline curve. But what's a line?
No,
I mean, you could term it. You could term it
A
adjacent.
line can
I
be
think.
curved, but a baseline can't.
Not a
it wouldn't be.
baseline.
So you could just even
Yeah,
ask,
Inogan's
is there such a thing as a curved baseline?
Inogan's differs from all of us. So I was hoping he would open his mic and contradict us, because according to him, triangles, they have curved baselines.
He's wrong.
According to him, triangles have 390-degree angles.
Who's him?
What the?
Who's him?
The unicorn over
Number
in the
one.
This
chat.
guy from the other day.
Hey, who cares? He's wrong.
This is your
I
time to
personally
shine.
think he's trolling
what?
us.
A 270-degree triangle? What?
What's the definition of a triangle?
Well, I know it adds up to 180 degrees no matter what, right? Otherwise, it's not even gonna match.
Exactly.
It's not gonna be full. It's weird. It would be a broken figure.
It wouldn't work.
Of course it wouldn't. It's a contradiction in terms. If you're talking about anything, if you say, okay, well, the amount that it adds up to on a spherical surface is, and then you give a number. Well, what are you talking about when you give the number at the end? Well, you're talking about the number of degrees. Okay, well, what's a degree? Well, it's a measurement of an angle. Okay? Well, if you've got curved lines meeting at vertices, you haven't got measurements of angles. So these numpties that start telling you about how spherical triangles work, no. Now, maybe in your numpty world of sphere, but in the world of reality, you measure angles off baselines. Those angles are straight lines meeting vertex. That's what an angle is. Now, they can spend all day telling you that's not the case, but that's what fundamentalist religious zealots do. Try and convince you that black is white and white is black. You know, well, fine. But as I say, he's wrong. Doesn't matter how many times he appeals to you that curved lines make angles. They do not. He is wrong. But that's what religious beliefs do to you. You know, they get this guy coming along, appealing to you to believe as he believes that curved lines make angles. Okay, you don't need to appeal to you. You guys don't need to get worked up because you've got some crazy person talking nonsense.
That's true. It's
Kind
not
of
reality.
funny, even when you put it into that computer program that dude was using. He tried to use the curved line. What did it say? This object is not a line. Access
doesn't work.
denied.
Yep, the AI can't help you with this one problem, ballers.
Access denied.
So the question
that could
stands.
be a good rap.
So how do you get an elevation angle measurement of a curved baseline, given that the baseline on a sphere is curved? The answer is you can't. However, navigation is performed with baselines, and those baselines will form the flat base of a right-angled triangle if you're trying to triangulate. That means Earth is flat. The end of the
Unless
argument.
you want to go to hell.
Well, unless you want to take those angles that you measure first and start inferring that they work with the spherical belief that you have, in which case you'll end up in hell, talking about angles working their way out from the center. Yeah, well, that's not measuring an angle. The question we ask is about measuring the angle, not what you'll do with the flat Earth elevation angle you measure off a flat baseline when you take that flat Earth angle to hell. That's not what we're asking. How'd you measure it? The answer is very clear. Off a flat Earth. That's what all the fundy ballers are telling us. You measure it off a flat plane. That's how you get it. I mean, that's why I asked yesterday, what's the advance on any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement off a curved baseline? Answer from both globe and anti-flat Earth, it must be flat. That's the standpoint. Any advance on that, ballers and anti-flat Earthers, it's just got to be flat. Yeah, we've won. Not just won, it's a slam dunk. There is no rebuttal. Your response is to tell us angles are measured flat. Or tell us how you'll get something flat to do this. Well, okay. So, but for the fact that you've got a fundamentalist religious zealot belief, we're going to be measuring it flat, and so will you. It's game over. Earth's flat.
And Nathan, they go one better than that. They actually tell us that they've never claimed that they need the curve, which is even better for us.
Yeah. Or you might end up in the realms of insanity, like what I was overhearing when I was trying to get the live show running, which is, no, bent lines make triangles. Okay, dumbos. That's where you got to go. Okay, you go there. We will laugh at you. Our empathy ran out in about 2018. So for idiots that start telling us, like the guy who's on the panel now that's gone very quiet, that no, triangles could have curves, we'll just take the piss out of you, call you mentally retarded, tell you that you've got the intellect of a 6-year-old because you don't understand basic geometry and triangles. That's what we'll do. You anti-flat Earth idiots telling us how flat Earth must be and how triangles with 90 degrees to baselines are used. Yeah? That's what you're telling us. So Earth is flat according to us and according to them. And they've got nothing. Oh, beyond telling us that angles aren't angles. Wonderful rebuttal.
Nathan, I'm sorry. You're insulting 6-year-olds. 6-year-olds know what a triangle is.
So yeah, you can argue with us all day about how we don't understand that triangles can have curved lines. We will laugh at you. and your religious belief in a ball that we're not standing on, when you've got no scientific evidence of a force holding us to a spinning water ball beyond a pseudo geometry created by Einstein, or an out-of-date rhetoric of mass attracting mass, utterly absurd.
Also,
What's
also
mass?
so you guys know, Uniguns is on a work call, so he's not responding because of that.
Of course.
What's mass?
A correction. It's a magical spinning water ball flying around over there.
How did you know that, Righteous?
Somebody DM'd me. So somebody else knows. So it's secondary evidence, I guess you could call it. Is that what it's called? Anyways.
Anyway. So there's no
I still
advancement.
never got. I still want to know what mass is.
Still want to know what mass is.
Yeah, if mass attracting mass is supposedly the hypothesis, and what's mass? Normally, QE would be asking these questions, by the
Sure.
way.
But it's not for me to answer. It's not my claim. I don't care.
I want to know what mass is.
Nice. That's a good one.
As soon as you said it, that song popped in my head.
Right, have we got a video we're going to be covering today?
Just want a bullet to show me.
Yes, exactly. This would make a great spoof.
That's funny because I put Uptown Girl by Billy Joel to race yesterday, calling her the
Guess that's a
Upward
no.
Girl.
Okay, we have got a video. Owen supplied this last week. I don't know if 10th's disappeared permanently or if he's on strike or what's going on, but we haven't got a 10th to provide us with videos at the moment.
It saved every one of us.
Okay, can we have the a bit less of the old Tourette's outbreaks? Thank you. Okay, so this video today is by a channel called Voyager. Pretty big channel. And the video is titled, NASA Chief Just Leaked Webb Telescope Shocking Discovery in Space. Okay, so as is usually the case, there's already an issue. We haven't even pressed play yet. Anybody care?
Yeah, that's the one I posted.
Yeah, I just said that.
It's a huge. It's terrible. I watched 2 minutes of it and then I almost got sick from it.
That sounds about
So-
my length for an hour-long show.
Yeah.
Sounds about perfect. 80 people watching. Might as well get stuck into it. Okay, so we're just going to, straight off the bat, right? What they're looking at is stuff in the sky, in the night sky. So that's what we're really dealing with if we're talking about actual images that have come from telescopes. Okay? Fine, but the word space in the title infers that there's an area of volume that these objects are residing in. Well, if that were the case, then the gas we're breathing, which expands in all vectors at a high velocity, would fill that area of volume, that space, because that's what gas does. It fills space. So the gas we're breathing would be filling the space that we're looking at all these items in, making all of the claims, if they're from, quote, space, second law of thermodynamics violation claims, because the gas we breathe would fill this area that they're claiming these items are in. So with that out of the way, is anything else anybody wants to add? Okay, with that, I'll say if you're watching this in the live stream chat, there's a link to Voyager going by now. Just let them know, at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and indeed, at Arwin, ARWIJN, sent me. Either or, Arwin's the one who originally has seen this video and provided it, so just let them know either one or the other, at Nathan Oakley 1980, or at ARWIJN, sent me, or both. And just let them know we responded to their video. We don't know if it's going to be positive or negative, but based on Arwin's reporting, it's going to be pretty negative. We'll see how we get on.
The James Webb Telescope has identified 6 galaxies that exist 500 million years after the Big
Ugh. Ugh. Less than 10 seconds of footage. and we're
Great
already-
start, right?
The distance that he's ascribing to these lights, called galaxies, is based on Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion and Huygens' assumption that Venus has the same radius value as Earth when assumed to be a sphere, With these two assumptions and Kepler's scales, you can give the values for distances to the sun, etc., etc., etc. Now, further to that, you've got speeds of light that are ascribed to those distances by Einsteinian mechanics. And with all of these extrapolations and assumptions, you can start making declarations about billions of years in terms of time from the Big Bang, which is how this has just been convoluted as a gaggle screw of time dilation and gravity nonsense. But ultimately speaking, all of the claims that have just been made in that short sentence are based on Catholic Church assumptions of heliocentric motions and orbital values, with Huygens assumptions of Venus's value being the same assumed radius value as a spherical Earth radius value, to give you scale, to give you distance, to give you time, in this instance, from the Big Bang. Wow, that was a lot to unpack for just 12 seconds of what can we call it? Bullshit from Michio Kaku.
Bang.
It's just
It is believed that
Sorry, Alvin, go ahead.
I'm just saying it's just the start.
It gets worse.
All of it is like that.
Okay.
our universe, about 13
Okay, the voiceover is just far more compressed. I'll just have to maybe vary the volume as they get the narrators on.
0.8 billion years ago, was nothing but a compressed ball with infinite density and intense heat. Within this little ball were all matter and all life. This little ball was called the singularity.
Just completely made up. This is Lemaitre's description, right? Am I correct? Yes,
Roughly,
Nathan.
yeah.
This
Although I
singularity
don't think there was. Hold on, I don't think Lemaitre claimed that life was actually within it. I mean,
No.
it didn't exist yet.
In the timeline, though, I'm saying the origin story itself is going to be Lemaitre's, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
exploded and expanded until it became the universe we see and live in today. However, the world of
Because, as supported by... I know, just a baseless assertion. In this context, with a deep voiceover, it was a time of war. It was a time of suffering. It was 3.6 billion years ago. You don't need to give any evidence, obviously. You just make it as a declaration, but just a purely baseless assertion fallacy.
Yeah, but they backed it up with. Hold on, they backed it up with really good, convincing CGI, though.
Oh, that was it. That was the evidence, the CGI.
science has been shaken to its foundations recently, as proof has surfaced that the Big Bang may not be the beginning of all things after all.
So, for every numpty dipshit that bought that there was a Big Bang and that was the beginning of it, based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever, that might be wrong. I mean, that's shocking. You mean they're going to change this story with no evidence? Oh, wow. I'm amazed. Yeah, not really amazed at all. That's pure sarcasm.
To what then do we owe the creation of our universe? What discoveries could have caused such large paradigm shifts?
Why would we...
Creator.
Go on.
I was just saying a creator. It's literally, he just said the creation of our universe. That would necessitate a creator.
Well, he did slip that through, didn't he?
He's slipping that by me.
Join us in this video as we explore the intricacies of the cosmos and the various explanations for many of the mysteries that make up our universe.
Those explanations for the mysteries that you say make up our universe. So within the narrative of what you say the universe is, those mysteries will be explained. But you never know. It could be that we'll say that they were all wrong. Like the ones we'll tell you are wrong now. What? So basing this on nothing, I'm going to assume it's all bullshit. Go on.
What if we make up some mysteries and then try to solve those mysteries we made up?
Oh, we do that too. I mean, the mystery of why the unicorns aren't attacking us is because of the argon gas layer in a sphere shape that protects us from unicorn attack. Now, obviously, there'd be chaos if we were being attacked by unicorns, and the mysteries of why we aren't can be explained within my narrative, and it's all very fascinating stuff. Now, coincidentally, there was a recently debunked explanation for why the unicorns aren't attacking. It proved to be wrong. But there we go, we've got a new one, and it's going to explain some of those mysteries. But there was a currently accepted unicorn non-attack explanation that's not true anymore because of new discoveries. So there we go.
After you see these images, you'll know that all that time and hard work was well worth it.
Images? Hard work? I mean, I'm not being funny. There was a reasonable amount of work at pointing the camera through a lens of a telescope when I used to do it. But, you know, beyond pressing the button that says take picture, it wasn't that much work, I gotta be honest. But it sounds like you're talking about images. Images is a very specific word to be using. I wonder why she used that word instead of just photos or something. I wonder why.
Congratulations.
In addition, we'll delve into an unbelievable scientific discovery on this.
Unbelievable and scientific shouldn't go hand in hand, right? Empirical scientific. That's what science offers, empiricism. But it's unbelievable scientific. That sounds questionable. Sounds like we're going to be offered a load of pseudoscience in this now, doesn't it? Like the stories that are going to be debunked later. The one that we'll be finding out soon will be presumably about the Big Bang and it not quite being the beginning of time after all. Well, what a shocker. And all those numpties who thought it was.
This issue, something that could prove an entire belief.
Could prove? There was the word science used. There was me thinking science offered a bit of empiricism. Well, what do I know?
System correct.
Not a great start, Arwin, but still.
The James Webb Space Telescope, a device.
I'm sorry. Did he say a scientific discovery that made a belief system that gave evidence for a complete belief system? Like, could you rewind that like 20 seconds, please?
No, we're back to square.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Know that all that time and hard work was well worth it. Congratulations.
In addition, we'll delve into an unbelievable scientific discovery on this issue, something that could prove an entire belief system correct.
Yeah, chocolate. It could prove an entire belief system correct. So, okay.
I wonder what belief system he could be talking about.
Fascinating stuff. I agree. Right, there's 8 people watching, so this is good, but not as good as it could be. So please share the show if you haven't done so already. Smash that share button, stick it on Facebook, stick it on Twitter, get the word spread. And indeed, let Voyager know at Nathan Oakley 1980 or at Arwin, which is ARWIJN, sent me. And then maybe leave a nice comment about the scientific belief system that was proven or disproven. We'll find out soon.
The James Webb Space Telescope, a device dedicated to watching the first galaxies created from the Big Bang, has...
Why didn't we see a picture of it? Why was that CGI? This is now a real picture of what they say is the James Webb Telescope up in space. But yeah, a minute ago, we had a CGI rendering of some garbage from a computer. Beggars belief that they can't get a picture of it while it's doing its job.
Has brought some new truths to light. The James Webb launched in...
Here it is again. What's this? This is garbage. What?
2021 to further study the stars may have discovered that religion may not have been that far off from the truth.
Well, what you just showed on screen was Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion playing out in a CGI rendering. So what you're saying is the religion of heliocentrism isn't that far from the truth, because that's what it is. Heliocentrism is just a religion.
Since humans evolved enough to be...
Evolved? What's that mean? That's an interesting word. We won't get into that here, though, unless anybody's going to jump on it. I'll just do it for QE as he's not here in his honour. Evolution? What's that?
Curious about the world around them and beyond, they have spent time looking into the heavens and pondering the origins. With the advent of religion, humans imagined a higher power or realm controlling the affairs of the universe, and by
Did they? As evidenced by?
extension, had to be responsible for its creation. Science, however, had other ideas.
Reification fallacy. Science is a method, it doesn't have ideas.
Firmly sticking to the Big Bang Theory.
Not a theory. Theory would be based on scientific evidence, as opposed to just so stories that might change at any time. 97 people watching. Thank you very much. Obviously, my call to action worked and people have just shared the show.
Religion and science have stood on opposite sides of the conversation for a long time.
Really? I just
Well,
went through how Kepler gave you orbital motion. They're one and the same on opposite sides. Go on, whoever's
Hold on,
interrupting
Nathan.
me.
Sorry. But technically, he's correct, except it's not the science and the religion he's thinking of. Science and religion do oppose each other, right? Science is a method, empirical religion based on the belief structure. Well,
No.
guess what? The globe is a belief structure, science is a method, and they are in opposition. So
No. But I
he's
have plenty of
technically
people
correct.
offering me up biblical.
totally
Hold on,
disagree
I
with
just
that.
want to address that, Adam. Plenty of people offer up biblical correlation between scientific validity and what was predicted in Scripture. So when you say they are in conflict, and people say, look, this was already in Scripture, this cause and effect relationship that we figured out with science is actually already here. Look, this is where it's, and you go, oh wow, doesn't it? Does that not lend to the idea or give credence to the idea that they're when at least using Scripture as an example, correlative as opposed to in opposition? Go on, Adam.
Well, that's what they call religion, but it isn't really the religion. The religion is the ball religion, right?
From
If
that
you just
perspective,
think
I
of-
totally agree with you. Yes, contextually in the religion that I've been describing all along, which is heliocentrism, then they're in
Exactly.
opposition. But Scripture wouldn't be inclusive of that, although that's how it's bracketized. Hence, this conversation was well worth it. Go ahead, Adam.
I disagree with it in that if we look at the initial developers of empiricism scientific method, their words of why they're doing it are not as an opposition to creation, to certainly in this case, in most of them, to the biblical scripture. It's done there in knowledge that there is a creator and to try and understand the creator. So if you listen to Bacon, if you listen to Newton as well, fundamental in their science is underpinned with the knowledge of a creator. It doesn't need in reality to ever oppose, does it? It can't oppose, it can only describe cause and effect within creation. So fundamentally, in of itself, it can't have an opposition to religion. People may try to use some of the things to attack creation views and misuse science to disprove creation or try to. But I think at the most basic level, it's designed to support an understanding of creation.
Right, but that's in the context of going with what they are talking about. They think of Christianity, for example, Bible as religion, but they think that science is the globe, right? But in reality, it turns out it's kind of the other way around. Then that's the point. That's my point. But yeah, if what you're saying is correct, the way they're thinking about it is completely wrong.
Never coming to a compromise or even attempting to meet in the middle. Based entirely on facts and visible, measurable data,
So we've had the only cited source as being Michio Kaku so far has given us time and distance based on light years and Big Bang, quote unquote, theory, which isn't scientific. And you're telling us that it's based on facts and measurements. Just lies. This is just outright lies. Anybody disagree? No, just flat out lying. Measurements. No, there's an assumption of an R value for Venus and Earth. That's it. That's not a measurement. Far from it. We've debunked all of the measurements for heliocentrism. All of them. Here on Flat Earth Debate. Subscribe today.
Big Bang holds the most plausible explanation.
Most plausible? If you had science, you'd have empiricism. You haven't. You're hijacking the terminology to lend credence to your just so story that might be proven wrong.
For the birth of our universe.
Just plausible stories aren't going to cut it here. You know, not good enough.
Religion, however, considers the exactness and precision of everything in the universe, stressing that a mere accident couldn't have caused all that we see today. Some sit on the cusp of science and religion, holding that the Big Bang was the precise moment God set the stage for the cosmic evolution that...
So what, heliocentric Christians? I wish 10th was here. He'd be having a field day with this. Yeah, the numpties on the Christian side span throughout heliocentrism also. There's plenty of people who believe that they can incorporate, by changing the words, a heliocentric worldview into biblical text. It's just not the case.
Yes, he's
place.
going through the Flat Swords channel. He's got a few of them that he's reviewing, and they have a whole convoluted teaching about the Bible. Instead of going right from Genesis and reading it for what it is, they're mixing heliocentrism and tell us we don't know how to read the Bible. How do you like that?
They believe that there must be a being who created the exact conditions required for life to emerge and set in motion the genesis of our cosmic evolution at that very moment.
What an outrage. It's almost blasphemous. So
Yeah,
when
but
he
it
uses,
is blasphemous.
Well, when he uses the word Genesis to describe heliocentrism, it's like there's a book called Genesis. It's describing this. It's not describing heliocentrism. I mean, what an outrage to Christians. 103 watching.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Please share the show.
Yeah, but he also said that, like, according to creation, God created the conditions for life to emerge. No, that's not what it describes at all. It says he literally makes it from scratch. Doesn't create the conditions for that to arrive. So he got that wrong.
To be fair, he has qualified this with a description of the people in this instance are going to be the biblical reading heliocentrists. I don't know how better to phrase that. So it has had a bit of a preface put in regards to how he's describing this.
This idea cannot be overlooked, as the universe's vastness and complexities unveiled by the Big Bang Theory only prove
They're not unveiled by a Big Bang Theory. Number one, theories would come out of scientific validity. This isn't that. It's just so story. So no, nothing's coming out of it.
that there had to be a creator of far superior intelligence and depth of understanding. The universe is such that everything required to support life in any way is placed exactly where it is supposed to be.
Okay, I don't disagree with that.
Goldilocks
Even the
zone.
minute
Oh, yeah, well, if in heliocentrism, they call us in the world, in the band that we occupy, the Goldilocks zone. But that's not how it was just phrased when he's talking about everything being in perfect harmony.
minutest misalignment or shift from the normal would bring about a massive catastrophe that could destroy the planets. This
Planets? What, as in the lights in the sky that are presumed to be soil? No.
level of precision forces us to ponder the universe's design and purpose, and more importantly, the existence of a higher power who may have orchestrated it all. While
May have. No, that's answered in the ontological primitives. You can't have nature creating the world that we exist in, because nature can't violate its own rules of nature. The laws of nature, in this respect, the first law of thermodynamics, would be violated if nature created itself. Well, you've only got two outcomes, or two possible beginnings in that regard. One is there was an external entity that created what we know as, let's call it the known universe. Or two, nature created itself. By chance. Like a Big Bang. Just poofed itself into existence, violating the first law of nature. So nature violated the first law of nature to create nature. Or there was an external entity creating us. There is only one answer to that. There was an external entity. Nature can't violate laws of nature to create nature.
the Big Bang has brought us closer to understanding.
I'm holding.
Not only that, Nathan, in the Bible it talks about how God rested on the seventh day because he finished with all creation. So where are all these black holes coming from?
There aren't any black holes, Neil. It's a description in a pseudo 4D time dilating realm that we don't actually experience in physical reality. So
Exactly.
Yeah, black holes only exist in 3D from a two-dimensional perspective. It's quite ridiculous like that.
Right. Yeah, but they're going to hold on to a creator creating it, and then they want to hold on to black holes forming out of nowhere. So
that was
it's
sharp.
ridiculous.
Arwin just described how black holes are a three-dimensional concept described from a two-dimensional perspective. Very, very good. Because that, when describing time, will be scaled up so that you would have to picture being in the 2D realm, describing the 3D realm. That's a black hole in Arwin's description. But we're not. We're in a 3D realm. because the black hole itself is a warping of the fourth dimension that we can't experience. What's that you say can't experience? No, but if you imagine you're two-dimensional, you wouldn't know what the 3D was like. So now that you know you are 3D, you don't know what the 4D's like. That's the bit that's got the bendy time dilating black hole going on in the maths, the pseudo-maths, the pseudo-geometry of this realm we don't exist in. How sharp are we?
Understanding how our universe came to be, it also leaves so many questions unanswered. One of the biggest questions here is, what caused the Big Bang?
Well, that's the ontological primitives if you want to automatically assume that there is a Big Bang. So semi-ontological with a beg in the question that we have got a Big Bang at the beginning of it. So what caused the it's got to be nature creating itself answer to the ontological primitives? Nature can't create itself. Ergo, there wasn't a Big Bang. But in this description, it's automatically assumed. That's a begging the question fallacy.
The Big Bang Theory explains with a flourish the effects and repercussions of the Big Bang, but barely provides an answer to what caused the dense ball of hot matter to explode in the first place.
What dense ball of hot matter? Oh, the one that they invented in the story. So, what caused, me talking about the argon gas layer is all well and good when we're not being attacked by unicorns. But what put the unicorns there in the first place, gentlemen? I mean, that really is the fundamental question we should be asking ourselves, should we not? How did the unicorns come to be? Has no one asked this? It's asking these fundamental unicorn-based questions that puts us where we are today with the unicorn argon gas theory. I mean, it's only raised more questions about where the unicorns came from after all, but we are getting closer and closer to answers about the argon gas layer and about the non-unicorn attacks that we don't experience. We wouldn't expect to experience them after all. Shout out to Goldie, who gifted 1 membership. And whoever picked that up, you can shout out Goldie, or thank her. Thanks for the support, really appreciate it. Everything's a bit of a mess on screen if you're wondering why it's suddenly a bit of an awkward pause.
Oh, by the
As
way,
there can be
Nathan,
no
Yes.
some moderating news. Have you checked like the rollout box? Right, you can choose top chat and live chat. There's another version of it that lets you exclusively see all the super chats that have happened and not
right.
any other text.
So on this screen, I could just have super chats.
Yeah, you can choose that now and go back.
Not on mine. It's just a toggle timestamps. Okay.
Oh.
Oh well. Not to worry. Participants. Maybe it's in there. No. Okay, not to worry.
It's on the top bar where it says top chat or
This
live
is
chat.
a wonderful chat for a live show. I mean, let's discuss this
Sorry.
for a bit
Well,
longer.
At least that's real. It's this waffle of this nonsense. Of
I want to get back to the Argon unicorns. Sounds fun.
Tell me about
because
the
there
Argon
always
unicorns.
were Argon unicorns, right? It's just at the beginning of time they were so dense they couldn't move. It's only after the Big Bang that you get the effects of the Argon unicorns.
I don't like this. You're just taking the mickey out of it, right? There's no Argon unicorns. There's an Argon layer protecting us from the unicorns. So don't just call them Argon unicorns. It makes it sound silly.
Yeah. And
Oh,
then,
my bad.
Back then, there was everything was so compacted that you couldn't really tell the difference between Argon and the unicorn because no one.
You're
could-
just
it was
making
all
that
dense.
up. That's just
look,
some story you made up. Don't
Look.
ruin the rhetoric, right? Making a mockery of it's not going to stand here.
guys, in the face of this new unicorn evidence, we have to rename the Big Bang into the Great Unicorn Stampede.
What do they have in Scientology? It's thetans, isn't it? Maybe if we change it to thetans, we're being protected from thetans by the Argon layer. Then just incorporate that into, or is that just Scientology? Will I just be basically punting Scientology at that point?
vacuum in
We're
knowledge
bringing the
or
Polonian people, Owen.
There's also the Polonian people and the dozers.
Now that came later, but maybe let's continue the video.
anything at all, theologists and philosophers have taken on the challenge of filling the knowledge gap with raging discussions on what could be the ultimate source of the universe's existence. However, this is not all.
It gets worse. There's more.
Very nature of time is another mystery the Big Bang Theory brought to the fore.
No, it hijacked an already in existence description or convention derived from celestial movements to give us the idea of how things elapse in what, again, we will call the known universe. Now, that description or convention is time. What Big Bang has as a consequence of four-dimensional time as a dimension is the descriptions you're going to now parrot off in terms of what Big Bang gave us when you have no idea what the origins of the world are, and this description violates the first law of thermodynamics.
According to the theory,
It's not a theory. It would have scientific validity to back if it was.
time, in its infiniteness, began.
Time in its infiniteness. Time's a way we describe how our lives elapse in the known universe. It's derived, the convention, from the movement of the celestial items that we observe.
After the Big Bang, and this begs the question, what if there was something or a being that existed outside the concept and limitation of time itself?
So while this is a begging the question fallacy at face value, when he says that begs the question, I disagree that that's a correct use. That raises the question of, within my paradigm, that begs the question. But that's a bit overly complicated for your average Joe audience member, so we'll probably leave that one for another day. Go on.
Yeah,
Adam.
but Nathan, a lot of people out there that do stories say beg the question when they basically mean raises the question. It's a new lingo thing. It's pop language.
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
people
the
say that.
It's the non-fallacious use of that phrase, as opposed to it detecting a fallacy. It's just raising the question. So yeah, you're right.
Is it possible that something exists outside our observable universe?
So we have an observable.
Is he trying to describe God here?
No, but let's just answer his question in the most simplistic manner, Adam. Do we have things that exist beyond the physical universe? I'd just ask you to think about that for a moment, Adam, before you answer the question.
Whoa.
Outside of unicorns?
Outside of physical existence. So they're talking about the physical realm because they've got a nihilistic, if that's the right term, religion. So in their religion, it excludes the supernatural in any form. So communication, thoughts, it's like they don't exist in a physical. Give me the weight of a thought.
Right, it's materialistic, and they think that information and all that is and even consciousness is a accidental, aberrant side effect of the material.
I'm glad you're here. Exactly, it's a byproduct in their worldview. Well put. I'm glad Arwin's here. Yes. What was the word you used, Arwin? There was just before we get to Adam. Sorry, there was a word you just used that was better than the one I used. What's the word?
Materialism.
Materialism. Exactly. I said nihilism. It's materialism. It makes everything about the material. Go ahead, Adam.
That was the point that made me say, are they trying to describe God? He's trying to suggest now something could be the instigation of all physical matter, and it sits outside of that realm that in their paradigm doesn't exist.
Exactly.
But it would have to, because we have matter and energy here.
Well, they're postulating that as the cause now of the Big Bang, isn't it? And it sits outside of that, and that's what an instigator of the Big Bang is. You can still have your Big Bang, but you've got the problem, haven't you, is what creates the Big Bang. So they're now suggesting that let's just go back to a realm, a dimensionality outside of physicality, even though they deny everything outside of physicality.
Right. But it's a kind of self-defeating infinite regress, isn't it, Adam?
Well, it's a call to a creator, isn't it? Ultimately,
that's what I mean by self-defeating. If you're going to appeal to something outside of your physical realm, when you've got a physical bias in terms of your description of that realm, then it's self-defeating because you're appealing to an outside entity. It's like, so you're conceding there's a creator then. Oh, quick shout out to Goldie, just supporting the channel, a bit of flat AF from South Florida. Thank you very much. Really appreciate the support.
Universe. But beyond that, even if there are things out there, there's no way we can see them because the light just could not have gotten to us.
That's not how light behaves, though. So this is working from the standpoint of having a speed of light, or a two-way speed of light. Well, again, within the Einsteinian mechanics of pseudo-force space-time, and time with a speed attributable to it, well, these notions have been proven incorrect with quantum mechanics. So all we're doing is using this dusty old heliocentric worldview and religion to describe how far things are and how fast they go in a vastly ever-expanding space that gas isn't expanding into. So what we're really hearing here is priests. Just religious rhetoric. It's really all we're getting here. Wouldn't you agree, Arwin? This is just religious rhetoric from priests.
Yes, and also it's based on both that light has a speed and that the universe, everything in it, is expanding in relation to each other, and that certain things that are at too much of a distance, you would never pick up on it because the speed of light would never overcome the expansion between, basically.
Right, beyond
It
the
would
redshift.
expand faster than the light could move, according to their claim.
Right, so if it's expanding out at a rate beyond the speed that the light is traveling, there's a point beyond the redshift, I think is what they describe it, with a Doppler effect, where you just can't see anymore because the light can't reach you, it can't catch up with the expansion, therefore you don't see anything beyond a certain point. Maybe that's where they're saying that the rhetoric's going to change. What they previously described as the microwave background, maybe they're going to say that time exists beyond that. And they could have just because we can't see is what he just said, right? This is perhaps where this is leading. Did you listen beyond this for about the 5-minute mark? No, I'll take that as a no.
By now.
Besides the theory's inability to explain cause of the Big Bang, it has also failed to explain some other phenomena, including the existence of dark energy and
Is dark energy a phenomena? What's dark energy?
No, it's a fix for a mathematical problem. So
It's a phenomena.
Exist per se. It's just the calculations that they used first round had massive errors in them. To account for those errors to keep the original theory, you have to create dark energy to fill the void in the maths.
This is kind of giving his hand away, really. It's not his fault as a narrator. Whoever's written this is just giving the game away, because he's essentially saying the phenomena can't be explained. It's like the phenomena doesn't exist. It's an apologetic in a mathematics. So it's not actually something in existence. It's something they might be searching for because they have to have it in some maths that doesn't balance itself out. But he's just said it can't explain that phenomena. Like describing something that you need to make your maths work conjures it into physical existence. And then that physical existence of the thing that was just a problem in maths needs explaining, or the failure to do just that, explain this quote unquote phenomena, is a highlightable error. It's like there isn't a phenomena. But in saying this theory fails to explain that phenomena, it does succeed in conjuring the existence of that quote-unquote phenomena in the mind's eye of the listener. Oh, right, so there is a phenomena, it's just this theory doesn't explain it. What's the phenomena? Dark energy. Oh, right. It's all black magic and doublespeak and conjuring the existence of things in reality from a need to have them in a maths that doesn't work. It's very complicated and very tiring, but that's the world we live in, right? Create phenomena out of nothing because you acquire it in your maths that fails.
Right. And then make it completely undetectable. It's like, oh, we need this thing to be in there for the formulas to work out, but we don't want to be responsible to actually like have something tangible for its place. So we're just going to say, well, it's invisible, it's undetectable, but it's definitely there, though.
but there's a fair chance that one day we'll see a line and a dot on a screen. We'll all cheer and go, oh, we were right all along. There it is.
Exactly. A squiggly line, man.
There it is. You see this squiggly line? Flash up squiggly lines on a monitor in some laboratory-looking environment for a split second. There it is. It's the God particle, antimatter, dark energy, gravity, graviton, whatever you like. What do we need in our maths that doesn't work? We need one of these. We will set about finding one, and we will provide you with the picture of an old CRT monitor with dots and lines on it, and that will be the proof. God particle, no problem. I'll be right on it. Go, science!
Matter. One would think that there would be an explanation for the things that make up most of our universe.
An explanation for the dark energy that they say creates the majority of our universe. No, we wouldn't need an explanation for that. Like, I don't need an explanation for the unicorns that make up the majority of the perimeter of Earth waiting to attack us. It's equally absurd.
But strangely, we still know very little about them.
What about the dark energy that's just been invented and isn't a real thing? Oh, isn't that interesting?
This knowledge gap makes it all the more obvious that there is still much about our universe that...
No, not about what I'm calling the universe. The stuff that exists in our quote-unquote known universe. Right? That isn't what you're describing when you say we should know something about this invented idea that has no proof and overcomes a problem in some maths that doesn't work. We've got to have some information on it. Yeah, we need the unicorn information. I want to know the anatomy of those unicorns quick sharp. We should know something about them.
That we do not yet know. This implies that further exploration would reveal more about the universe than humanity has.
Just mixing up words to make it sound like you're doing things physically in the physical universe when he talks about this.
Ever known. The James Webb Telescope is a 21st century wonder. It is the successor of the famous Hubble telescope. The James Webb Telescope is a...
Cut to a picture of a painting.
Technological marvel made to obtain a deeper understanding of our...
And yet we can't get a picture of it. I mean, it's so technologically ace that once put into commission, we stopped worrying about getting photos of it. What gives? Surely you'd want to see it in operation. It's the Emperor's new clothes, isn't it? Yeah, here it is. Look, this wonder. Where are you going to put it? In orbit? Wink, wink. When it's there, CGI pictures only.
Our cosmos. It is equipped with state-of-the-art instruments with cutting-edge engineering.
Yeah, the thing on the ground, I bet it had a lot of work put in it. The one picture that you showed us of something real looked wicked. I mean, it looks so technologically advanced, it was outrageous, man. It's just a shame it's not falling around a ball Earth in a vacuum, because we'd all be dead.
The James Webb Telescope is twice as flamboyant as the Hubble telescope. At the heart...
Is that a good word for a telescope? Flamboyant? Oh, I love looking at space.
Part of the
that's
telescope.
a weird word choice.
Oh, you get out with your word choice, Adam. Oh, wow.
Did they paint it all up and everything?
It's a very flamboyant telescope.
Is the primary mirror. The mirror is an astonishing 6...
Oh, I look in the mirror. I look fabulous. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Nathan.
6.5 meters in diameter, surpassing the...
Doing his, for Pride Week, I think.
Pride Week? Oh, I see. Yes. This telescope is very brave.
Hubble telescope's 2.4 meters. The Webb telescope's larger mirror means its ability to capture more light is significantly higher, increasing sensitivity and providing unparalleled resolution in the infrared spectrum.
And yet we can't get a picture of it doing it. Here it is in CGI. What gives? Shouldn't it be in quote-unquote orbit? Isn't that where this resides? Oh, we can't get a picture of it once it's there. All right. Why? I know. It's because once things go through the wardrobe to Narnia, very difficult to get pictures of them once they're there. You know, all the film in the cameras immediately dissolves as soon as you go through the wardrobe door. Obviously, we couldn't just get pictures of it. It's moving at 70,000 miles an hour, or whatever they claim. Right? Is that right?
The magnificent light mirror is not all there is to the James Webb Telescope. Amongst the Webb telescope's suite of scientific instruments are
Got Wi-Fi, can make coffee. Wicked.
the near-infrared camera, the near-infrared spectrograph, and the mid-infrared instrument.
The mid-infrared instrument. I mean, that sounds so cool.
Of-the-art instruments work in perfect synchronicity.
Wow.
And because of this, scientists, as well as astronomers,
What? Scientists? What are the scientists doing? Are they establishing the cause and effect reasoning that we would do with a hypothesis-based experiment? I think not.
can delve deeper into the cosmos's mysteries by
notice-
Ed?
Sorry, did you notice that they said scientists as well as astronomers?
Yeah. 'cause
Yes,
then-
I caught that, Brian.
Right. What Brian's highlighting is even by this narrator's standards, astronomers aren't scientists.
Bit like that's the office politics going off there.
It could be. I think that
We're
whoever wrote this
scientists.
for the narrator, you know, the guy with the voice, that it was a time of war. He doesn't give a crap. He's just like, yeah, I'll read out your garbage. That'll be 50 quid, $50.
capturing extremely detailed images, collecting spectroscopic data, and can explore celestial phenomena across a wider range of wavelengths.
Wow.
Wow,
telescope.
celestial spectroscopy. Oh,
Yeah.
so effective.
Yeah, Helio would have a great voice for things like this.
What do you reckon? Have we done enough of this, Arwen? I know you probably only got 3 or 4 minutes in. Do we need more? You don't know. 'cause you've
I'd
not...
like more. I'm very curious. I mean, they started out saying that the Big Bang Theory was all disproven. And then they explain everything about the Big Bang Theory and how it, so I'm kind of curious as to how it's going to round out its argument, or if it's basically not going to address it, really. I'm just kind of curious as to where this is going.
Why didn't you watch the whole video? You are no 10th man replacement. You know that.
True.
We might get into a bit more of it in the after show, I think. But I think on that note, I'm going to round out and say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member, gifted memberships as Goldie did, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!